Welcome to Atomic Cricket Podcast. This week, I'm your host for this week, Chirunandan Srinath. I'm joined with Vijay Lokapalli sir and Maitreya, my co-host. Usually, today we have a very special guest with us, Rakesh Rao sir. He's been a sports writer for 34 years now. He worked with the Patriot, the Indian Express, the Hindu, and it happens to be that Vijay Lokapalli sir and Rakesh Rao sir are very close friends. So thanks, Vijay sir, for calling him here. And we're going to talk about IPL. Right? This is the first ever live stream that we are doing on YouTube, and we're going to talk about IPL. Rakesh Rao sir, first of all, welcome on to this show, and hope you're staying safe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm absolutely safe. And it feels great to be here. And I'm extremely happy to be part of this show. Thank you for having me here.
And Vijay sir, how are you?
Oh, I'm very fine. And I'm also very looking forward to grill Rakesh Rao because normally he gets away, but today he will not be able to escape. So Maitreya, Chiru and Akash, we are going to grill Mr. Rakesh Rao.
Ready to be grilled, Vijay? Yeah. Shoot.
So we'll just get a start about IPL. We'll give a power start to it. Now it's returning after almost 6 months. And let me get to you, Rakesh sir. Is it too important before the World T20 Cup? And what are your thoughts? It's restarting, rebooting is a bit of both.
Yeah, looking at the very restart, for me, the timing is just perfect because that will also give you a clue about how these guys are, all these T20 guys who are going to be there in the World Cup. So for them, it is a great, kind of a dress rehearsal at the same venue. Need not be the same wickets because they're not going to use the same wickets though. But at least, this is the closest that you can get to the actual action and the actual surface. So yes, a lot is at stake for those who are going to be around for the T20 World Cup. So in that context, yes, it is important. And if you just draw a line between the World Cup and the T20, the IPL, then there are a lot of other players who will not be part of the T20 World Cup, but they look forward to this platform year after year. To be seen, to be recognized, and but to be talked about. So for them also, it is of equal importance. But yes, the timing of this couldn't have been any better. When you look at the fact that from here they straight away start the T20 World Cup. Yes.
And Maitreya, how are you going to follow this IPL? Are you excited? You must be, right?
Yeah, I'm very excited because when they abruptly ended the IPL in May, I was not sure whether this IPL would go on or they would go to the next year or abandon this. And I'm really happy that it's going on. It's going to come in a few days. And CSK is my favorite team because I'm a MS Dhoni supporter and it's a first match. So I'm really excited.
So while we too have favorite teams. Vijay sir is a bit neutral, and even Rakesh sir is a bit neutral. That's their maturity level. So all right, we're not going to talk about their favorite teams. We'll start with the Mumbai Indians, Rakesh sir. So they're the number 4 team on the points table, and they've been so successful in all these years under the captaincy of Rohit Sharma. And then for them in the first half, Rahul Chahar has been the leading wicket taker. Pollard has been good, especially versus CSK. We saw that match. And then Rohit Sharma has been excellent, who's been giving those power startings. And then there's a lack of form of Ishan Kishan, Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya in this IPL. We do not count the Sri Lanka series. So, can they win this year's IPL? What do you talk about this Mumbai Indians?
Chiru, this gap of 6 months, this has made a lot of difference because there's no continuity here. You are returning to colored clothings, white ball cricket. A lot of them haven't played that for a bit now. And for me, the kind of form which they showed before the IPL was suspended, that is not of much help. I'd rather start fresh. The teams will have to restart. As you said, they've rebooted. So if the entire tournament has rebooted, the players will have to do the same. They'll have to find their form again. And, the challenges are going to be different here. It is to say that, okay, just because a team like Delhi Capitals has won 6 out of 8, it doesn't mean that they will start as the favorites. Yes, they have the cushion with them, but that doesn't mean that things can get any easier for them. Each team starts as equal. Talking about Mumbai Indians, yes, for me, it's a very gritty side. It's a very professional side. And we have seen it in Dubai, what they're capable of doing. I mean, at least in that region. Because the last time it was held there, way back in, I think, 2012 it was, almost 10 years ago. I mean, the way they bounced back, and they did whatever they did. And for me, I'll never rule out MI. Rohit, of course, is a great leader. I've always liked the way he leads the team in the IPL. And he has the resources. He has the manpower to do the job. And he gets it done more often than not. So even though they are now just there, team number 4 means you are at this point. If we say that you are seeded to qualify, we won't be off the mark. But we'll have to still wait and watch. So let's see how things unfold from this point.
So Vijay sir, on Delhi Capitals. So when I asked you which is your favorite IPL team, you say you do not like IPL, but anyway, it's going to be Delhi. So talk about Delhi Capitals. It's well structured. They're on the top on the points table. Shreyas Iyer is set to return back, but Rishabh Pant will be the captain. What do you think of this decision, and how far will Delhi go this year? How much do you think?
I think I back Delhi Capitals because I live in Delhi, and we got to always got to cover more Delhi matches. We had to cover Delhi matches, Rajasthan Royals matches, Punjab Kings matches. But for me, the X factor is Rishabh Pant as the captain. He's bound to grab this opportunity. It's a very balanced side. You have a coach like Ricky Ponting. But Chiru, I want Rakesh's inputs because he was following Delhi Capitals more closely than me. Rakesh, can you give us some more insight into Delhi Capitals?
Vijay, first of all, for me, again, when you say that Rishabh Pant is going to be, the leader, although all the thinking, at least most of it will be done by Ricky Ponting and company. But this man as a captain hasn't inspired me ever. I mean, I've seen him through his Ranji Trophy days. The last time Delhi played the Ranji Trophy, they played against Vidarbha for the trophy. And right through the campaign, more so, I'd rather give credit to the coach of that team, which at that time was KP Bhaskar. More than that, this boy hardly had a role to play. And again, I don't see him, contributing as a captain. He'll be there for namesake. Yes, he will be there and he'll do his bit and he'll probably do his best. But Rishabh, the captain, no, my vote won't go for him at all. Shreyas will have a role to play. Yes. And I would like to still see Shreyas holding the reins and Rishabh, the wicketkeeper, contributing with his inputs. But no, as a captain, definitely not. But overall, when you look at the side, I think this team plays with a vengeance these days. And I think that has been instilled by their coach. I recall meeting Saurav Ganguly a couple of seasons ago when both Saurav and Ricky Ponting were part of the same, same, you can call it a dressing room or a dugout. When I asked Saurav, I said, how does it feel to be sharing the dressing room with Ricky Ponting? And his response was, Rakesh, it feels great because he's a great guy. And there were other journalists, so I looked at them and said, now listen to this man. He's saying that Ricky Ponting is a great guy. And he says, no, seriously. And then he elaborated why he said so. He said that Ricky Ponting commands the respect of all these youngsters. And he's successful. He knows his job. He's super fit. And a lot of people who are part of that team, for them, Ricky Ponting is a star. He has won the World Cup more than once. And he knows how it is to be a champion. And that's what I think he brings to that dressing room. And people like, all these youngsters, be it Prithvi Shaw or Rishabh Pant and this whole lot, they need to just stand there and listen to what is being said. And for them, that will be education. It will be like reading a book. It's like listening to an audiobook every single time they are in that room with Ricky Ponting, because he brings in so much of value. So for me, what Rishabh Pant can do on the field of play is mostly what he has heard from Ricky Ponting and others in the team. And it's not just one man. They have a very good support staff. They have a lot of seniors, and I think there's a lot of good cricketing minds coming together. So Rishabh can only gain from there. So for me, he'll probably be just translating what is being said there onto the field of play. His own contribution, I don't think he's going to make much of a difference, because the kind of impression he gives you, the kind of if you go only by Rishabh Pant, the batsman, the way he follows the instructions of your batting coach like Vikram Rathore, that is visible for all. As long as he clicks, he clicks. That's it. Otherwise, Rishabh Pant is always a candidate that every bowler will look to have a go at him, because he gives you an equal chance. He can hit you for a six. He can get out looking like he look like a very ordinary batsman out there. He doesn't look like a match winner all the time. And that is why I'm saying you can't have a captain like that. A captain has to have certain elements which will send out the right signals when he's out there. So if I'm in that team, and if I have to draw inspiration from Rishabh Pant, that will be very difficult for me.
Let's move on to Maitriya's favorite team, Chennai Super Kings. But first, I'll come to Rakesh sir, then I'll go to Maitriya, of course. So Faf du Plessis and Rutraj Gaikwad, they've been doing a brilliant job in the first half.
Yes.
They have scored 50s after 50s. Their opening partnership is good, and that's what gave them success. That's why CSK is on top 2. And then you have Sam Curran, who's taking wickets. You have Moeen Ali, who's doing the middle order job. And then you have Jadeja, who's been brilliant on the field with his fielding or batting or even bowling. So talking about CSK, they've returned into form from 2020. Now, how do they manage this IPL? How will it look for them?
Well, they stand a very good chance of being in the top 4. Playoff seat for them looks well within their reach. The reason being, again, here is a side that rides on experience, and they have the man to do the job. Now, when I talk about Dhoni, one of my favorite captains, of course, a great individual. He brings so much more to the table there. But I think the way I look at Dhoni, the wicketkeeper, Dhoni, the captain, plus Dhoni, the mentor. Now, this team, we all know that this has a lot of experienced names there. Their average age is in the 30s. That apart, even those who are in their 30s, they all look up to MS Dhoni. That is because if you are a bowler, he tells you exactly where to pitch the ball. Now, what he does is he fine-tunes it. He's not telling you. He knows that you know your job, but he just fine-tunes it on that given day. And that's what the bowlers love about him. If you are a batsman, again, the kind of inputs that he can give you, it is quite amazing. And I would like to share what Yuzvendra Chahal once told me. He said, "Look, normally in a 50-over game, he said, I normally come and bowl after the 9th over. I bowl the 10th over, which is the last over of the first power play." He says, by that time, Dhoni sir ne sara kaam kar diya. He used to say that he would do the entire homework for me. And by the time I came in, he would tell me exactly how the batsman is playing on that day. He said, today he's not playing this shot, so you can try this. And these instructions are being given to a person who's bowling his first over of the day. So, that is how good he is with the bowlers. Now, how many wicket keepers can do that job? You tell me. That is where MS Dhoni is, if you just add the contribution of each player with his cricketing wisdom, I think Dhoni brings a lot more to the table. So that's why I feel that with MSK around, and he is motivated, he's not done with his cricket yet. He plays only one form of cricket these days, and I mean one tournament, which is the IPL, and he wants to make it count. And every time the team doesn't do well, it hurts, and it shows on his face. And he does some straight talking, whether it is the presentation area or whether it's a dugout or in the dressing room. So that's what a lot of CSK players say. What we really fear is that when we don't do something right, and we know that MS hasn't missed it. So I think this is what a captain does. And this is in sharp contrast to something that Rishabh Pant is expected to do. I mean, he's going to be more of a spectator, and rather he will be, he'll be showing respect to the seniors in the team. And here is one person, MS Dhoni, he's at the other end of the scale, where he will ensure that for the sake of the team, he does some straight talking. So he won't hold anything back. And that is what makes MS so special. Now, if you look at the bowlers there, if you look at the fast bowlers, whether it's Chahar or somebody, you know that they owe it to this man who's standing behind the stumps. That confidence. So I think that team, the epicenter of the team happens to be the wicketkeeper, captain, and a man who is celebrated for whatever he has done so far. And he commands respect. And that respect comes from within. It is not because of his statistics. The way he conducts himself as a captain, the way he talks. If you listen to this man for even 10 minutes, his honesty comes through. So I'm very impressed by MS Dhoni, the captain, MS Dhoni the person, whatever little that I've been able to gather over the years. And yes, I would still like to see MS Dhoni, the batsman, come to the party. That's what I want to see. I mean, that's the only aspect which hasn't come good so far. And I'm sure after this break, and we are going to see shades of vintage MS. And if he comes like full throttle the other team, you can't ask for more.
Yes, sir. Even I'm hoping that CSK makes it to the playoffs and MS Dhoni really
Yes.
bats for a long time and comes up the order at least in one match. If he comes up the order and gives the spectators and fans something, I feel it will be a really good memory to hold on to.
Absolutely, Maitreya. Yeah. Very true.
Yes, sir. And then we will come to Chiru's favorite team, RCB. So in RCB, Virat Kohli is a captain, and we have many players. Batsmen, we have ABD, and then Maxwell, and we have Padikkal. He's been batting very well in the opening. And
That's
as
right.
bowlers also, we have seen Harshal Patel played really well in the last season, and Mohammad Siraj played really well in the recent matches versus the England Test and other series. So talk about RCB and what is their plan now, and do you think they will make it to the playoffs? They're already in a really good position, and I feel they will make it to the playoffs. So what do you think about that?
See, right now RCB is in. They are fourth on the list, right? Or they're third, rather. I'm sorry, they're third. All right. So, see, RCB stands a great chance. Why I'm saying is because they have shed all those self doubts which they used to have till the other season. I remember when this team would score 190, 200 and still not be sure of winning the match. And that is why I've always maintained, I've written about it, that this is one team that can put 200 runs on the board, but their bowlers were capable of conceding that one run more than what their batsmen have made. And that doesn't give much confidence to the fans. And RCB, where they used to play, which is the KSCA, small, a little smaller boundaries, where if scoring 200 was almost considered a pass score on certain days. So for me, they have had a good start. They have positioned themselves to have a go at the playoffs. And this is great news for their fans. And this is again one team that hasn't done well. If you look at their history, they haven't done well so far in these 14th. I mean, we are into the 14th edition. They don't have a great history, but their fans are still around. It's more like a CSK team. The CSK, on the other hand, it looks like a champion side. They have proved themselves on so many occasions. But RCB, despite not doing well at all, their fans, they just back the side. They want to see ABD play, the way only he can do. The kind of things that he does, only he can do. So for me, RCB is a special side. RCB is needed in the IPL. Whether they come, eighth among 8 teams, whether they come, fifth and fourth, doesn't matter. The team would everybody watches their games, and RCB brings a lot more value. It is definitely first among equals in a very different sense. Not against. I'm not comparing them to the its success rate with that of MI or CSK. I'm not doing that, but it is a very special side, and this time they are really in with a shot. So looking at the flamboyance of the team, the form of the team, and they have worked on their attack a little bit. So I just hope that it's not just a one-dimensional side anymore, because for long it used to be one side that used to only bat well. And here I would just like to add one more thing. Even when they were not doing well, if you look at the last, say, about 4 or 5 seasons, I for one maintain that only if Virat Kohli had the captaincy acumen of MS Dhoni, with the same side, with the same set of bowlers, they could have done a lot better. So I want to just underline that I am not very happy with the captaincy of Virat Kohli. I love Virat Kohli, the batsman, the way he can execute certain shots, and with the kind of audacity he plays. It's a treat to watch. But again, his captaincy element in a 2020 game, and with all the resources, I think his captaincy needs to get a little better than what it has been so far.
All right, sir. Rakesh, sir, let's get a quick thoughts on the remaining teams, because we need to move on and talk about your life and ask some questions.
Please.
So we'll talk about the changes, and Rajasthan Royals have made a lot of them, four changes in their when they come into the second half. They got Shamsi, who's the number 1 T20 bowler. They have O'Shane Thomas. They have Evan Lewis. So now, how does this team, which is almost at the bottom of the table, can they actually come up and do those things that the fans might be expecting?
Well, Rajasthan Royal is going to struggle because it's not a balanced side. For me, it depends too much on they have a few batsmen up there. If they don't have the services of players from England, then you had it. A Jofra Archer or a Ben Stokes, the team revolves so much around them. So without the services of those from England, Rajasthan Royals looks like the most beatable side in the competition. And people expect Sanju Samson to, pull off, 50s or 100s at will. That doesn't happen. And probably the one player who has raised expectations but hasn't lived up to them, if I were to pick one player, that will be Sanju Samson. When he gets going, obviously everybody loves to watch him in full flow, no question about it. But then, the kind of consistency that you expect from a top batsman who's carrying the expectations of the team as a skipper, that again, he needs to contribute a little more, I think. And he's still not captaincy stuff. So, and in IPL, people say that captaincy doesn't play much of a role. I don't agree with it. I think because things are happening so fast, you need a sane mind there in the middle to take control. And he has the advantage of being a wicketkeeper captain, who bats right up there. So he has everything going for him. Still, I think he still has to evolve as a captain, and that can help the team in the long run. Not in this season for sure.
Yes, sir. Then now we will talk about your life and your experiences. So,
Okay.
uh, sir, I have read some articles on you, and I have got to know that chess is a very important game that you like, and you have
Okay.
met many chess greats like Vishwanath Anand, Kasparov. So,
Yeah.
tell us about your experiences with them and your experience with chess, and how you got into the game of chess. What
Okay,
inspired?
Maitreya. See, before I answer that, can I take a minute off and tell you something? That is, I am in love with the way you sound. The sound of your voice is very sweet. And the sincerity and the genuineness, it just comes across. It has touched my heart. So I must acknowledge that upfront before I go into details of what you've asked for. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to have you, and it really makes me feel very special to be asked this question in such a sweet sounding voice. So let me start. Well, chess. I used to play as a little boy. I remember. I was in Bhopal as a little kid, and my father, who was then he was the manager or the branch head of United News of India in Bhopal. So we used to have a lot of his friends coming over, and they used to play chess. So as a little kid, I would go and watch that people are, sitting there pushing all these wooden pieces. I wouldn't understand what was going on. So one of these uncles, he taught me, that this is a king, there's a queen, these are the pieces, and blah blah stuff. I don't know how much I could gather, but then I kept watching, and then my dad helped me learn the moves, the initial moves, and I was told that one day I suggested a move when they were playing a game, and everybody was stunned. Of course, I didn't know the basic etiquette that if two players are playing, you're not supposed to suggest moves. But I was too small, and they were stunned. I said, "Yeah, this is a fairly decent move." And then gradually they encouraged me to play, and then within a short period, I started beating these men. And then everybody felt that, oh my God, here we have a great talent in chess at home and stuff. Of course, I wasn't so great. Probably they allowed me to win a few matches. Then, of course, that's how I fell in love with the sport. But I didn't pursue it seriously. It's only when we moved from Bhopal to New Delhi way back in 1975. I was 11 years old, and that's where my brother, who was 3.5 years older, he said that there's this tournament happening. Why can't we go and play? So imagine a 14-year-old and 11-year-old, we go and play in an open tournament. Now, open tournament means where it's not restricted to certain age groups. So you have senior men, players up to 70, 80 years old coming and playing. So we tested our skills in that tournament, which was a Reserve Bank of India tournament. And we didn't do very well, obviously, our first tournament. We were overawed by the occasion, and seeing so many people play the game. But that at least gave me the confidence. Then I started playing at the Delhi level and some junior level, made it to the Delhi team, represented Delhi in the nationals. And then before I ended my college, that was the end of my career, because then my father said it's time to focus on studies. I wasn't great in my academics, just about average. And that's how I pursued it. So that is how I fell in love with chess, and loved it as long as it lasted.
Rakesh, sir, this question will, if you answer it, it will give
Yeah,
me and Maitreya a lot of tips. So there are three phases of feelings, right?
yeah.
When we are doing this podcast, we feel good about it. We
Mhm.
feel we are speaking well, and then after you do this, after a day, you would feel maybe I could ask this question, maybe I could exclude this question,
Yeah.
and all those sorts of things. And then is the third phase when maybe 1 or 2 years later, when you see and you laugh at yourself speaking like that. So which is more important, and how do you consider these things?
My God, Srinath, you've taken it straight out of my book, in the sense that, I can relate to what you're saying. When I wrote my first piece way back in 86, 87, I was very happy with it. Oh my God, I've written something like that. Today, when I open those pages of that magazine and I see it, well, it's almost laughable. And this is not to mock at what I did. It was just that, as you said, that at some point in time you like it, and you like it for a while, yes, because you have a reason to, because you've given your best. For me, Chiru, every time you do whatever that you do, you never give your second best. You always give your best. What you're doing right now is your best. You will never hold it back and say, okay, let me, put forth my second best. It doesn't work that way. So even when you do something for the first time and you like what you did, and then years later, say 2 years later, 3 years down the line, you look at it and you'll say, my God, I actually said this and this made me happy. Don't put yourself down. Just remember one thing, at that point in time, with that level of understanding, this was your best. You couldn't have gone beyond this because you didn't hold back anything. So yes, that gives you joy at that point in time. It also, when you reflect on it a few years later, it doesn't make you too happy. But then that also shows that you have evolved. Your level of understanding of a subject, the way you process your thoughts, the way you present your thoughts, it all matters. And you learn a lot, on the job, on the way. There are a lot of things that your parents, your teachers, your elders haven't taught you. This is what you have learned as an individual. So we all owe a lot to the foundation, which has been laid with the help of the kind of guidance that we have received from our parents, elders, and teachers. Beyond that, we need to build on it. And we all are doing that. And so what I want to say here is, when you reflect on what you had already done, don't ever put yourself down. Look at it as a phase, and you say, okay, maybe what I'm doing today in 2021, this will be a reason for me to laugh at when I am in 2025. You never know. But trust me, you should refrain from doing that. You should not mock at yourself and say, oh my God, look at this. I actually did this. No, you did your best. And when anybody does his or her best, and this is what I could do, and I gave my best. So always acknowledge it. Don't put yourself down in any circumstances. That's one of the lessons that I've learned.
Yes, sir. And can you tell us about your meeting with Roger Federer and Tiger Woods? So both of them are greats in their sport.
Oh my God. Okay, let me tell you about Tiger Woods first. Okay. My first meeting with him was in 2004. We had gone to the US and there was a tournament happening there. Boston was the city. And I was very fortunate that we had couple day for company. So, and later on, of course, we played a tournament there and we won the tournament. So the Tag Heuer International, we won. Never before had an amateur team get a title in the US. So that was the first occasion. And of course, Kapil did all the hard work. I was just part of the team. We had a 4-member team. So that is one. But what happened was that Kapil was equally keen to meet Tiger Woods. So we all went to meet him at his hotel. This was during the tournament. And I got an opportunity to talk to him. And I remember my first question to him. This was our first meeting and my first question. I asked him, I said, do you have any plans of coming to India? So he said, well, I love that country. And like, this is where the quality of a successful man just comes across. Imagine a journalist going from India, where golf is not so big. If you go to Europe, if you go to US, the kind of status and stature the sport enjoys, it's quite different than what we see of golf in India. Now here he is completely with you, irrespective of your nationality, irrespective of the kind of status of that sport which he pursues. he is telling me, he says, I'm also half Asian. He's trying to bring himself closer to India and say, look, I love the Indian food. And of course, Taj gives me a good reason to be in India. Now, he had never visited India till then, but he still wants to give you a detailed answer. He could have very easily said, well, I can't tell you anything right now. I mean, India is not anywhere in my plans, but he didn't say that. So this is one. And then, of course, I was very fortunate to be his guest, not once, not twice, but on 4 occasions in my life. So then the kind of interactions we have had has been very great, because there is this time that you get with him to talk to. And he is all ears. He knows that this is the time which is meant for the journalists and for Indian journalists. So when he listens to you, you learn from that this is the way to be. He's so down to earth, he's so humble and so appropriate. When he is onto the course, then he's a different person. He's so focused again there, and he gets distracted. His level of focus is quite amazing. And his commitment to get the shot right every single time. So a lot of things to learn from him. And that was a great experience for me. Talking about Roger Federer, of course, that was more than me doing anything. I think it was Tiger who initiated it. I remember there was a press conference that was about to start, and I was standing maybe about 10 meters away from him. And I was watching him. And so he settled down. He had his people around him. And he suddenly spotted me standing there. And maybe he thought that here was an old man waiting for his autographs. So he suddenly smiled at me, and he extended his hand. So I looked back. I didn't know what he was trying to do. So then I walked up to him, shook him by his hand, and said, "Hello, Roger." So he said, "Hello there." And he said, "Autograph." Now, I didn't know why he was asking me for an autograph. Then I looked at my left hand. I was holding my reporter's notebook. He thought probably that was a notebook which I had carried so that he could autograph. So I kept holding his right hand, and I extended my left hand, in which I was holding my notebook, and he took the notebook from me. Now, this is where, again, the magnanimity of a champion. He sits down, he opens it, and now searching for a blank page because it's full of notes. He finally finds a blank page, takes off his, sign pen, and then he puts his, the typical, those initials and this, and then he hands it over to me. And now, in return, I didn't know what to say. So all I said, "Roger, you're a kind soul." And he smiled at me. He says, "It's a pleasure." And a bit later, I remember I happened to, I remember I had forgotten something in the room. So I came back from the stadium, which was the arena rather, where we were seated. So I came back to the press room, and that room was a little, it wasn't a square room. That was more of in a circular shape. So I was running along the wall, so I couldn't see who was coming from the front side. Suddenly I noticed, I heard the footsteps, so I slowed down, and I had this accreditation card with me, which was going all over the place. So I held on to it. And the next thing I see is, here is Roger Federer standing, say maybe 2 feet away from me, with 2 big made, call them, like his bodyguards or whatever. They were there. And here, we just looked at each other, and he looks at me and says, "Another autograph?" Now, I didn't know what to say. I pulled out my accreditation card, handed it over to him. Now, he thought that I was chasing him to get my accreditation card autograph. And he was again so sweet. He again signed it. So I have these 2 autographs from this man. And again, that very friendly smile and a very warm handshake. Certain things that I'll never forget, and probably I'll have a story for my great-grandchildren.
So, Rakesh sir, the next question is, how do you stay neutral when you, do journaling and all these things?
Yeah, you stay neutral. That's not very difficult for me because when I know that I am here to do a job, of course I have friends, I have my favorites. I'm just another human being. But when I'm writing a copy, or if I'm interviewing somebody, One thing that I've been told is that I cannot be interviewing a person if I meet him as a fan. I need to shed that and meet him. Like I remember when I was talking to my favorite sports person, Mr. G.R. Vishwanath. That was probably the most difficult part for me, because I was in awe of this man. I grew up idolizing this man. And here was this opportunity. I was sitting next to him and holding my phone and recording whatever he had to say. And that was very difficult for me to not be like a fan. I mean, here was a fan interviewing his idol. That was probably the only time. But that hasn't happened to me since then, or even, before that. So there were a lot of these cricketers or a lot of these sportsmen, and be it Anand, be it Leander Paes, be it Sachin Tendulkar. I've never met them like fans. And a whole lot of others whom I was very privileged to interview. So that is where, you will lose your objectivity if you are looking at somebody who is more than equal or who is way ahead of you. How you interview a person is that at that point in time, you are equal. If you are sitting across the table over a cup of tea and you are having a chat, because that person who is giving you time, if he realizes for a moment that you have put him on a pedestal and you are only taking dictation, you are not asking questions, you are only noting down what is being said, then he won't respect you. So always remember, when you are interviewing anyone, even when you do this show, like I know that for me, Maitreya and Shri are both my equals. And that is why this conversation is taking place. And when I sit with a man like Brian Lara, for me, that was a great experience. Or maybe I can recall another West Indian, Michael Holding. These are the greats of the games. And when you talk to them, you have to, recalibrate everything. And then you say, okay, I'm going to meet this person. I have my questions. I need to get answers. So it's your privilege that you are in a position where you can quiz these greats and you can ask what you want to ask them. And ask the supplementaries, because they are saying something. You have come prepared with a set of questions. You do that. And when you shake hands for one last time, probably you still part as equals. But once you go through the glass door, then we come back to our lives. It's like, for all you know, he'll be taken in a limousine and you are going to the parking lot in search of your car. So, things can be different. But that is where, but when you are talking to the person, you got to be objective. You got to always remember that in this space, you are equals. So I think that has helped me, because my mind is conditioned to actually treat every sports person that I've met, every celebrity that I've met, as an equal for that time. And that is what I carry to my work and each time I write, I know that I'm writing about somebody who has done his bit. Obviously, he's successful and I have a reason to write about him. But having said that, you have to tell yourself that I cannot, be writing about this man as though I'm his fan. That shouldn't come across when you are writing.
Yeah. And Rakesh,
yeah,
it's my turn to ask a question. It's been a privilege. We have worked together for 31 years. Yes. Can you imagine? Half of our lives we have worked together.
Yeah.
And in the company of Mr. K.P. Mohan.
K.P. Mohan, yes.
Our dear Kami Srinivasan, Rakesh Rao, Y.B. Sarangi.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now you have young Abhishek Mukherjee. So,
yes.
It's been a long journey. And I sometimes wonder how you have managed to keep your focus and keep yourself well informed on every sport. I mean, tomorrow, if you ask me to go and cover a tennis match, I'll be a complete failure. Mm-hmm. But if I ask Rakesh Rao to go and do an equestrian event, you will come out with, a very good report. So how have you managed to be an all-round sports journalist? That has always fascinated me, because you have your specialties: badminton, chess, golf, table tennis, and every other sport. Cricket, of course, has been in the forefront. I can never forget your interview of Michael Holding. I can never forget your interview of Sachin Tendulkar, Leander Pace, and Vishwanathan Anand.
Vishwanathan Anand.
Ask same questions to all three of them. That's one great interview. So how have you managed to be a all-round sports journalist? How?
Well, I never thought about this, to be very honest. I came into sports journalism because I wanted to be a sports writer. I didn't want to be a cricket writer or a chess writer. Never thought about it. I never had a choice when it came to picking my sport or doing anything, because when I joined the Hindu, as you remember, Vijay, I mean, during that time, we had stalwarts of the highest order. I mean, we used to look up to people like R. Mohan and Nirmal Shekhar and Tyagarajan, and not in that order though, but, a lot of this, these were big names. And we had people who were seniors and who would do all the big events. So for me, it was like anything that I got, as long as I wanted to do it, whether it was equestrian, because even if I wanted to do, say, a Davis Cup match, I love the sport. I follow the sport pretty closely, though I don't write so much about it. But I continue to love the sport for more than 40 years. But I knew that I'll never get a Davis Cup match, although I was a second man with Nirmal Shekhar more than once. But I knew that I'll never write the match report. But that didn't hit me. That didn't hurt me. I would say, okay, he's special. So it's an honor to be sharing the space with him. Same thing with R. Mohan. And probably your nature, your character, the way you've been groomed by your parents, I think that keeps your head in place. You can't be complaining about too many things. And one more thing that before I answer that, this thing about trying to strike a balance among all these sports and trying to do justice to whatever was assigned to me, I think I've been grateful to the Almighty, to my parents and teachers and elders again. Why I keep saying this is because I don't want to forget it. I keep reminding myself that I could have had a lot of reasons to complain that, look, I did this, but I didn't get this reward. But then when I pause and think that, okay, I expected A, B, C, I never got it. But God gave me X, Y, Z, which I never asked for. If somebody had to tell me that you are going to be standing next to Gary Kasparov and he's going to put his arms around you and then he's going to appreciate the kind of questions you've asked to another person who is a legend from Spain, Mr. Garcia, I would say, come on, this can't happen. These two are legendary names. I'm just another journalist. And he would say, no, this guy knows his stuff. So I didn't ask for it. God gave it to me, right? And nobody can take it away from me. So one day when I sat down and started looking at everything that God gave me, which I never asked for, I was a very contented man. So when I did these disciplines, maybe that was part of my character, part of my being, that I took everything, whether I was sent to a Delhi State football tournament, whether I was sent to a Delhi State table tennis tournament, whether it was a basketball tournament, another local tournament, or be it the World Championship or the World Cup. I did an inter-college event with the same intensity at the start because I thought that was a great opportunity to learn. Even today, when I go for my assignments, I do my homework well. Even when I go and do this Ranji Trophy thing, I want to sit down and take stock of what happened in the past year, who were the performers, and what does this new team look like. So that's part of my homework. This probably has helped me because I keep doing this with every sport. So it's not that I do it with these 5 events which I do around the year. Even if it is, say, equestrian, I would like to still know who are the equestrian people today. I must have done equestrian years ago with a lot more focus, or be it, say, swimming. But I think it's very easy for a person to do it if you're treating every opportunity as an opportunity. Every challenge that you are seeing, you'll say, okay, I haven't done this in a bit, but let me do my homework. Because I see you, I've seen people like Mr. Mohan and all devotees of homework. I think that has helped me a lot, because for me, every discipline that I do, tomorrow, if you send me to DLTA and you say, come on, you go and do this ITF tournament, maybe I'm going to sit down and look at the calendar. Okay, these many tournaments have been held at the DLTA in the last 6 months. Our players have done well. So when I go there, I already have a background. That is probably the reason. I think more than anything else, because I'm just said, okay, it's not a knee-jerk reaction for me to go and do different events. A lot of homework has gone into it, probably. And also the kind of mentoring that I've had, like the kind of idols that I had, like for both Maitreya and Srinath. I would like to just add one more thing. If you have a mentor like Vijay Lokpally, like Vijay has been my friend and mentor, again, not necessarily in that order, for 3 decades. So you can imagine if he has made an impact on you people, imagine the kind of impact he has made on me. So all these things have added up. So I have been ever so thankful to God for keeping me in the midst of some great people who have taught me how to be, and a lot more people who have taught me how not to be. I'm thankful to them as well. So I think all these things, because I've taken my work very seriously. I've never compromised. I've never considered that, that I'm a great writer or an excellent writer, but I've been a very sincere writer. And I take pride in saying that I've never compromised with my sincerity. That probably is the reason why I've been able to do a lot of things across the board. I haven't stuck to event A, B, or C. I wanted to be a sports writer, and God has been extremely kind that He gave me the opportunity to try my luck.
Rakesh, one more question for me before I hand it over to Chiru is that, today's young journalists, they face a lot of challenge.
Yes.
To me, I think we were privileged, or maybe very fortunate that we didn't have so much of competition as it is today. The number of journalists are more. They have to compete with television and then the digital world. I mean, what would you tell a young journalist who is wanting to make a mark and or maybe kind of survive, float, excel in sports journalism today? I mean, keeping in mind what I said, the challenges of television, the internet, and so many platforms have come up now, which are giving you information before your report comes out the next day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, just a brief advice, or what would you like to tell them?
See, when we were growing up, the kind of things that we were taught, probably those were just right for the kind of challenges that we faced. With all those tools, we could meet those challenges. Now, if I were to cut paste my answer and give it to you, that will be completely outdated. And because those answers they are not meant for the question that you are being asked today, the kind of challenges that you have. But what I want to say is certain things haven't changed. That is, if you look at it with passion. I mean, whether it's a Vijay Lokpally or a Rakesh Rao, I think and a couple of more names I can take. We came into this profession because we just turned our passion into our profession, a paying profession. And that is why we could do a lot of it with whatever limited resources we had. If every individual who's coming into sports journalism, if he's not passionate about sports, please don't stick around. If you love sport, I'm addressing those people now. If you have come into sports journalism because you love sports and sports persons, if you want to see their struggle, you want to be with them, not when they're winning, when they're struggling. If you can place your hand on their shoulders and say, doesn't matter, you will do well, you will come back. This is just a phase. If you have that kind of a passion to stay with a sports person when he's going through a rough patch, that's if you have that kind of a mindset, to think more from your heart than your mind, then you can face a hell of a lot of challenges. And the way that you meet those challenges is that getting that little extra edge. That is, if you are competing with the print media, of course you'll beat the print media because the kind of deadlines that the social media things have, and the kind of all these 60 word shorts you have and stuff like that. So of course, they are all different brands. But if you want to excel as a journalist, as in, say, the print media, your approach has to be different. That means you have to give the reader something different that cannot be said in 60 words, that cannot be said in a 140 character tweet. You got to have that thing. So for that, you have to get out of the comforts of your AC rooms. Journalism cannot be pursued when you are sitting with, in the comfort of AC. You can't do that. Step out, put in the hard yards. You have to run the yards pretty hard, the last mile pretty hard. That's what you need to do. And keep evolving. Don't go outdated. And keep adding to what you already know. Don't say, okay, I have a diploma in journalism, because that's the in thing these days. Everybody gets a degree diploma and you rest on that. No, that is just the beginning. That's not the end of your knowledge. Keep acquiring, keep reading, and be relevant. Be relevant. That's what I keep saying, because a lot of people start giving gyan just after 2 seasons as a sports journalist. I mean, we still haven't qualified to give gyan, Vijay, me and you. We are still students, and I think we still keep learning. So I think you have to stay relevant and keep adding to what you know. That is what I want to add here. And can try to say something new. Each time you are sitting and writing down anything, you ask yourself, do I have something to say? And the answer has to be yes. If you don't have anything to say, then that copy is not going to make an impact, because that has already been said. So try to look for that novelty, that some element of freshness. I think that is what is going to keep you relevant.
Chiru, do we have any other questions from any viewer, or maybe you can just,
Yes. So it was very good to have you here, Rakesh sir, to get your insights on
Thank you, Chiru.
IPL
Thank you
and
so
then
much.
talk about, for answering our questions. And you have a lot of in-depth of knowledge, and you shared it with us. So thanks for that. And Vijay sir, thanks for calling him, and he's just an amazing person. Thanks, sir. And I would like to convey my thanks from Maitra as well. He could unmute and convey his thanks.
Sir, thank you for your insights and your experiences you shared. It was very nice knowing all of those things.
So,
and may I add one line before you allow me to go? First of all, this has been an experience of a lifetime. And never thought that I'll be quizzed by the people whose I think your age, your combined age is less than the experience of either Vijay Lokpally or Rakesh Rao. But it is such a pleasure. It is such a pleasure to be here. And when I say this, I mean it. It's not to flatter you guys, because I, for one, I could never imagine being quizzed by people who really know so much. Like Vijay said at the start, that these guys are brilliant. He said 5%. I'm reducing it even further. I wasn't anywhere close to 5% when I was of your age. It's a pleasure having, just staying in this company for the last 1 hour. And these are learnings for me. And trust me, when I get an opportunity to share my experiences on different forums, this particular, the last 1 hour, is going to be part of that sharing. Thanks so much for having me, Mitsani.
Rakesh, I have in the pandemic, I have discovered some friends, but these three are very special friends: Maitreya, Chiru, and an unsung Akash, because he stays behind.
Yeah, let me give a big shout out to Akash. I couldn't see him. I know that he's doing all the hard work. Thank you, Akash, for playing the role that you are playing, and one day, of course, and I hope that day comes pretty shortly. I would like to have a chat with you as well. And thanks for being part of this team. I know it's a wonderful team, and you have a long way to go, and you will go a long way for sure. And this is just the start, and what a start it has been for you guys. I know, and for both Vijay and me, I think we are learning a lot from you guys.
And Rakesh, you have to thank me for giving you three good friends, young friends.
Now, on that subject, I can keep thanking you for the next 1 hour. I mean, the next 1 hour will be only about me trying to, put down everything that you have contributed in my life. You have brought so much of value to my life. I mean, that, of course, this is not the platform for me to go on and on. But yes, you've added 3 more names to it, and very special names. I don't think you've ever got me friends that young. So far, and all teenagers, and of course, all of them are less than 1/3 of our lives, Vijay. And this is a new generation. It's a different spirit, a different vibes, which I would say a completely different set of vibes here. And it's great to be part of this, and it's great to be alive in this space, where these youngsters are taking over, and we are witness to this, and not just a witness to this, we are part of this.
Thank you. Yeah, Chiru, take on. Yeah.
Yeah, Akash, you can stop recording and live streaming.